Hey everyone, Timid Falcon Knight again with more Return to 1K for you. Today's match is going to be this Tier 1 Fog match on the map Assassins versus Pizza Man 420, the Sasha player. I picked Hawk on this map, and I'm mainly going to be focusing on Sasha's niche. What makes her good in Tier 1, and that's basically it. I'm gonna preface this by saying I haven't had too much experience with Sasha, so take what I say with a bit of a grain of salt, but because I play Hawk anyways generally. But as you can see here, Sasha is one of the tier 1 COs, along with Javier, Von Bolt, and Hawk. And her main two competitors, and her main niche actually, is that she gets Market Crash, which basically makes it so that if you use it properly, not only does it give her an extra 10% attack and defense, which and it only costs 2 stars as well. So not only does it give her the extra 10% attack and defense, which puts her actually on par with Von Bolt. So you're going to be getting this at least every other day, so just due to how cheap it is as well. Well, once engagements actually start happening, which is where it becomes important. But anyways, she's actually sort of on par with Von Bolt half of the time usually. So her day-to-day isn't... The fact that she doesn't have any firepower or defense boosts, she gets an extra 10% income per property in standard, and the Market Crash. So basically what she does is Sasha's niche is she basically makes it so that your opponent can't use their CO powers, and she also gains that extra 10% attack defense boost, basically at least every other turn, I would say, to be conservative with it. The reason why... and that's basically all you need to do with her. Sasha is generally better on denser maps with a lot of properties. This one, I would say it looks like a pretty good Sasha map, at least on paper. As far as the map analysis goes, just because you've got 40 properties, and that's around where I would pick Sasha if you want to play her. She's got a very specific playstyle as well. Like, I prefer Hawk a little bit because you can use his powers to a pretty good effect, and then you can sort of bully Sasha on a day-to-day if you get paired against her, which is you will sort of see a little bit in this match. Yeah. Well, I guess so. That's Sasha's niche. She basically prevents your opponent from using their superpowers and their CO powers, which basically only affect people like... In this tier, it only affects people like Hawk and Von Bolt. It affects Javier as well a little bit, but this isn't really a Javier map anyways. I think the comp tower is a little bit too exposed, and... Well, actually, let's just go into the map analysis. So, the reason I picked Hawk on Assassins is because, well, first off, I don't like Von Bolt. To be perfectly honest, it's annoying to play as him. Was this a fog game? Yeah, this was a fog game, actually. So, technically speaking, Sturm and Grit are also both in the tier for this. Grit's bad in fog, so he doesn't really matter, but Sturm is another reason why you would pick Sasha on this map. Because Sasha, I think that was like the second episode if you want to look at that. But Sasha's really good against Sturm, just because her extra... she's gonna get basically be able to spam her power a lot, and being 10-10 against Sturm's minus 20-20 is very good. Let's just put it that way. That's the main reason I feel like I lost. So that first match was the CO matchup, as well as just going overextending a lot, I think was that, if I remember correctly from that match. But anyways, you got a little sidetracked there. But yeah, Sasha is very good at shutting people down. I would say that she's okay on this map, but the reason I picked Hawk was for that 10% attack bonus right from the start. I think Von Bolt might be a little bit better, although if you look at the win rates, Hawk actually takes the lead over Von Bolt by 3%. So that's something to keep in mind. I think the main reason for that is, like, even though this map is pretty dense and it looks pretty small, it fits on the screen very well, it's also very tall. And you have your production bases in the corners, like here, this. So, meaning that it'll take a little bit longer for them to reinforce, meaning that your day-to-day powers are actually going to be a little bit less important, meaning Von Bolt's defense is actually not as good as you might think. But the reason I like the extra 10% attack on this map is because of these tanks here. So, actually, there we go. So this is I think it's Neo tanks on a road is what you do if you want to get the damage against pipes. So 16 to 25% compared to 15 to 24%. So the way this works is you'll be able to spend on average, like, it'll save you a bit of time. It'll basically, if you'll be able to potentially break out of this a little bit earlier. If your opponent plays properly, they can take out your tank long before that. But it is good to just have that as pressure to force them to build that properly. So that's this map. Basically, the gimmick of this map is the tanks, meaning that you sort of need to put out a early artillery to both take care of this tank without taking any damage yourself, and then also blowing out this pipe seam so that you can reinforce a little bit faster from this base. And then also this one as well, so you can't actually go across this river with vehicles. Like, this river, just by itself, is the main reason why it takes forever to move in with your vehicles, I feel. Your infantry can just move right across it, but your vehicles need to take the long way around. So actually, I feel like this base is actually the most forward of your bases. And you can use it to push pretty effectively this way. Meaning, I'm not actually sure which is your strong side and your weak side. I feel like you sort of have this blob area around here that you're pretty good on. Then your opponent has a blob area around here that they're pretty good on, but I feel like there isn't that much of a strong side, weak side, just because of how packed the production centers are. I feel like pushing through here is good. I feel like pushing through here is also good, but it takes a while for your vehicles to get in. So keep that in mind. And then you have your comm towers here, which are sort of exposed, but sort of not exposed. They're at 2 turns from... Basically, your close one is 2 turns from you, and then it's like forever from your opponent. It's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's like 3 turns, maybe, actually. So, obviously, your closer comm tower is going to be, you're going to be able to get that and hold onto it for quite a bit, fairly easily. You can even move in a artillery fairly easily, 2 turns as well. So you can hold on to it, and it's like contestable enough that if you pour enough resources into it, you could hypothetically take your opponent's comm tower and have both. But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, capture game is sort of important in this match. But other than that, Oh, also you have the black boats, which is another reason to buy the artillery, actually. To get your opponent's black boat off of their HQ. It's a bit... The weird thing about these HQs is you can't really rush them, but they're also like far enough away from your base that you can't really just defend them super easily as well. It's not like completely exposed like in some other maps, so it's not like an HQ. This isn't really an HQ rush map. But if these black boats weren't here, it would be a lot easier for your opponent to just move in. I think it might be an HQ rush without these black boats. Other than that, I think that's basically it for most of the preamble. So let's go ahead and get into the replay. So, starting out with infantry builds, obviously. First thing you want to do is move in like this. Because that way, this is the only way that you're really able to move in onto your, to capture your third base on turn 2. You gotta move onto this bridge and then move across the river, obviously. So that's that. Moving back for that, just because it's sort of a chain. And then that's that. This is an interesting mountain here because it gives you a little bit of vision. It's especially again on the city, so that's sort of important. And as you can see, like turn 4 already, it's down to 67. It's 5 seconds. So, and I think there was one turn in which I forget to pop this, but I'm obviously going through artillery here to take out this tank before it can actually take it out of the running before it can actually do anything. My opponent's moving infantry stuff, and my opponent looks like she's going for the artillery as well. So far, anyways, sort of like doing the same sort of thing. But my opponent is going for the pipe seam first instead, and that's a mistake on their part. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. So they go for a mech here instead. So that's 3,000 funds. I don't like this, mainly because you're doing a mech attack into a tank on a city, and that's not great. Like, let's just, and that's with Sasha firepower as well. You don't get the extra 10% boosted firepower, so you're going to be attacking from a river into a tank on a city. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous. Even if she had, if this were Von Bolt doing this would also be an awful idea. Because just look at the, it's an even trade still, but it's with the extra firepower and defense. So this is with this would be a Von Bolt example. But yeah, you don't want to do the mechs into this. That's an awful idea. Mechs and fog are like a bit of a meme, but like you want to do this for sure. Just do the artillery, and she built the artillery as well. She should have definitely moved it in here. She could have done that easily. But instead she's gonna throw away 3,000 funds for like nothing. And it's gonna slow down her tank build as well. Well, actually, probably not, because this map you actually have enough income. Looks like she's actually a property ahead right now, but it's not gonna be a thing for much longer. So you can see capture game is going pretty well for both of us. I get the recon fairly early as well. So as you can see, I got the recon out earlier. I can see everything here. I can harass infantry that are trying to capture this city at least if they want to next turn. But my opponent doesn't have anything even remotely like that. She can't see anything over here. Got my second tank out obviously as well, but like she can't see anything over here yet. Well, she's got her recon, so she's gonna be able to, but it's already a turn behind compared to mine. And which in return for this trade, like, no, no, you don't want to do that. This mech I think was really costly for her early on. Before had a little bit better of an early game capture game, and she has an extra bit of money, but because she doesn't have the extra 10% attack that Hawk gets on a day-to-day basis, that is going to come back to bite her a little bit, because the extra 10% firepower is about, I'd say it's about as powerful as the 10% extra income she gets. So it evens out a little bit. Moving into sort of block here, so that's okay. Like, she's able to keep my tank from moving out, but like my tank wasn't going to move out anyways. If she had moved in with the artillery, she would have been able to take it out a while longer. And the other reason you want to take it out pretty early on is to make sure that this pipe seam actually stays in place. And the reason why you want that is just so that this city is less exposed. And it's not really something that's going to come into play probably, because like by the time your opponent reaches this city, they'll be able to take your comm tower first. So it doesn't really matter, but like it matters a little bit, I guess. Obviously blasted that open with the artillery. So she's getting this tank out a little bit earlier on this area. She's sort of threatening here with the tank, but like this is sort of my strong side, I guess. Because early on, if you don't take out this pipe seam, you're going to have more tanks in this area. And I've already got 2, probably 3 tanks in this area. She's going to have 1. Maybe backed up with the artillery, and she goes for a second artillery as well. I don't know. I don't really like the second artillery. The second recon, I think, is okay. But she definitely had enough to get a tank instead of that artillery. Should have just gone in for the tank. Because I feel like, well, while artillery are good, I don't think they're like amazing. And this isn't a map that you really want an artillery on. Like, sure, you have the artillery to push into a black boat and to take off a pipe seam, but that's it. That's all you really want it for. You don't really want it for anything else. Like, I took out the recon here, obviously, but like the tanks are just going to be much better than artillery on this map. Now, artillery blocks can be good if you spam them and keep them all together. But like, that's not what my opponent's doing. She's spreading them out, so we're not even doing it like that. It takes out my tank here, obviously, but like, eh. And at the end of this turn, my opponent actually is going to be 2 properties behind me. So because she's Sasha, she's sort of basically on an even playing field with the income right now, but like she's starting to lose the capture game up a little bit as well. Moving in here like so, the recon and everything, moving in with the captures as well. Moving in like that. It's an interesting play. I think I like it overall, even though I don't have something to hide in the forest with, because if she had just 1 tank in the area, that would have been perfect, but she's got 2, so. I'm also moving with the battlecopter here. No anti-air in sight, so that's pretty good. I should probably be, yep, I bring an anti-air of my own out as well. So there's that. This is a map that has plenty of income, so you will definitely be able to see battlecopters come out. The airport's actually also in a fairly good position to push over here as well. So you should obviously be expecting battlecopters. Moving in like so, and she's still like 3 properties behind me now. That's really bad, honestly. My tank is fine on this city, and moving in with the rest of her units, she sort of doesn't have, like, she's guaranteeing some captures at least, so that's good for her. Well, semi-guaranteeing, I guess. Trying to push in this way. I sort of see what she's doing with the artillery, pushing for the HQ here and then getting the anti-air as well, but I don't think that you're going to be able to push in with just one artillery against the Black Boat. Because you take a look at just the damage, especially with Sasha. Like, this is another reason why you go Hawk at least, or Von Blood as well. But like, this is going to take 3 turns to bring down this guy at least. Like, let's say 7. Yeah, 3 turns. Well, you can follow up with a tank attack maybe, but like, and like in this map, there's no way that you're gonna be able to HQ rush with the Black Blood and everything. No, I'll be able to reinforce with my at least from my airport as well, and I have enough units in this area that I'm definitely not going to just let her take that. Recons are a little bit exposed, but I feel like they're gonna be fine. Like, she's not really moving in to back her recons up or anything. This guy should have probably been in this forest, just so that, well, I don't know, I feel like it's okay, I guess, because she's denying me this attacking from this city as well, I guess, but the forest is probably the better spot. But whatever, as you can see, looks like she's going to be ahead in value after this turn. Yeah, a little bit ahead in value, but as you can see, unit counts, she's already behind, and in income, she's behind significantly. It's 3 cities worth right now. Of course, she's going to be able to grab that up in a second, probably. Except I do this with the recon, this with the tank, kick her off of this entirely, and actually go for the cap here. Knock out that recon entirely, because versus I think that's guaranteed, because he has 10%, well 20% as well, so yeah, guaranteed to do that. And yep, actually getting a shot off on this tank here. Not seeing the artillery, but like I'm making very significant gains here. Her income's in a very bad spot already. Being a little bit aggressive with my battlecopter maybe, but I think it's a little bit worth it because I'm able to move in like that. Did I need it? Yeah, I needed to do that, but this is a little bit fancy. So this is a little bit fancy, but able to block this off entirely and actually flip this city. So potentially, we will see if I'm able to do that. I think I probably am though. So she takes out this tank entirely. Gets a shot off on my recon here and finishes it off with her own. So there goes that vision, but like I've already won the income game basically at this point. So she's not going to be able to spend much longer around here. Also, Santa is going to take forever to get over here unless I move in aggressively, because at least she's protecting her vehicles with it, which is sort of what matters. But like, and then she pops a market crush as well, which is good for her defense, but she doesn't need a defense right now because I'm about to take 2 cities, one of her which was a flip as well. And I'm just able to keep on harassing her capping infantry as well. And she's not able to like actually make any ground anywhere, which is very detrimental for her. Taking the shot on the tank, and then I forget if I go and interrupt this cap with this guy or just finish off the tank. Oh, it looks like she might have... Well, we'll see at the end of this turn. But the income gap's pretty significant. Oh, I actually take out the recon. I like that more than taking out this tank, actually. So she's going to be able to flip this city as well, but I'm already pretty ahead in the income game, so that's fine. Like, right now, I am 4 cities ahead, so if I can afford to have her flip that one back. Of course, this is only a 1,000 income gap with Sasha's extra income, but because she doesn't have the extra firepower that Hawk does, it's gonna start being irritating for her. Moving in with the anti-air there. If I had an extra recon, I might have been able to see that. So definitely being a little bit low on recons for me. I've got one. It's gonna take forever to move in over here. I got the medium tank here as well. But I think the medium tank's gonna be super good. Look at all the vehicles here. Of course, she's got artillery, which sort of counters the medium tank. She's actually going for a transport copter here. No, and another artillery as well. No, I wouldn't do that because she's not making effective blocks with her artillery. And I'm moving in here, kicking her off of this city. Moving in like that, so I can spot the artillery and actually take a good chunk out of it at least. Try to get this guy off of the city. I think I move in with the 1 health. No, I leave the 1 health infantry as is, because it's never going to be able to take out that 1 health. It'll just die. But knock him off the city there. And then actually move in like that to deny the city to my opponent as well. So, pretty fancy plays. Get a shot off on the tank here. No, it's going to be kicked out by the anti-air here. So if I had seen that, I might have fallen back a bit. But like, honestly, I've got enough stuff in this area that it doesn't matter too much right now. Get another battlecopter as well. I've got the medium tank in here to move in. That's the other thing I really like about medium tanks is they're effective. I like just chasing down anti-airs with my medium tanks because it allows you to move in with your battlecopters to back up your medium tanks against the other units as well, which is really nice. And your medium tanks aren't really threatened by your opponent's tanks, and they can, and I guess sort of threatened by the artillery a little bit, but like not that significantly. And they one-shot the anti-air as well, so if you just take out, if your opponent just has 1 anti-air in the area and you take it out with your medium tank, you can move in with your battlecopters, which hard counter your opponent's artillery as well, fairly effectively. She's got her second market crash, which looks like pretty good. She's actually taken the income lead on paper. Of course, she's down 1 city still. And I'm about to take a couple more properties. This one, maybe, in a second. So that's going to happen. This move, I don't really know if I like, because it's in range of her anti-air now. So I don't know about that. But, well, as you can see here, I blocked it off with my tanks here. So I think that was overall a pretty good move. She can't really move in. Well, she could. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If she attacks with a tank and then this tank, maybe she can move in. But I don't think she's actually able to take this guy out necessarily. Oh, well, it doesn't matter anyways. I just move in with all my units here and block this off basically completely. So, yeah, and then I've got this guy, which I'm being a little bit cautious with, because I know she's got the anti-air here. And then just moving in with the rest of my units, obviously, but she just resigns this turn. The reason for this is I'm... like, look at all these caps that I'm threatening with. Now, threatening on her. So, in summary, I'm going to be pretty quick, hopefully, with this, but the reason why she resigned is just because, to be honest, she could pop Market Crash and make a pretty good push this turn. But look at all, if you look at my infantry, they're all sort of poised to follow up and keep on pushing in here. So even if she moved in and extended against my infantry cap, she'd be wasting her vehicle attacks on my infantry, whereas I have a bunch of units like my tanks and medium tanks and battlecopters and a bunch of stuff that I can follow up against her with all of those and take out her stuff. Now she's, as far as income is going, she's actually on par right now But because I have the extra 10% attack power day to day, eventually that's gonna cause me to overwhelm her, and that's sort of the what ends up happening with Hawk. Like eventually he's just gonna be able to out. If he stalls, if the game ends up going into a drawn out match between Hawk and Sasha, and they have sort of similar income levels, Hawk's going to be able to just take her out on the day-to-day with the day-to-day advantage that he has over her. So yeah, that's sort of why I don't play Sasha. She's sort of tricky to play, because her day-to-day makes her basically on par in income, which makes her sort of relevant, but like sort of not. And then I like playing Hawk against Von Volt anyways, just because, well, as you saw last episode, I'm able to eventually overwhelm him with just the sheer power of my superpower anyways. But against Sasha, all you really need is an extra 10% attack and a little bit of an income advantage, which you get by having the extra 10% attack, which is able to let you push in a little bit harder. Yeah, I think that's about it. As I said earlier, I haven't played too much Sasha, so well, that's something on the shoulder area. Anyways, that's it for today. Next week's match is probably going to be, next week's match is going to be the last episode of this sort of mini-series. Going to be another Max versus Rachel match, actually. Last Vigil. Very small map. So yeah, it's kind of going to be a bit of a bloodbath. But anyways, as you'll see, I will be back at 1K after that. So after that, I'm going to be... So that's going to be the last episode of Return to 1K. And then after that, we'll see. I might do all of these. I might skip more of them. But I'm basically going to be pushing towards 1100 after this. Which I haven't reached quite yet. So obviously there's going to be more videos if you... there's going to be more replay videos of this type anyways. So I guess like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. And I will see you next time for the last episode of this season. See you guys then. Hold on. Oh, you want to...